and welcome to another monthly money reset. Happy February and happy Black History Month. I feel like that needs to be said right now. If the US government isn't going to observe it, I feel like it's even more important that we as a people and as a community do. The history of oppressed groups matters, diversity, equity, and inclusion matters, and I hate that our country has allowed an old cis white man to tell us that it doesn't. So yeah, I wouldn't feel right doing a video about resetting for February without acknowledging Black History Month. So happy Black History Month. And let's go ahead and get into this monthly money reset. As always, I am very excited to be sitting down and going over my budget with you and just resetting for the month and heading into it with a clear plan and feeling like I slightly have my life together, even if it is only just for today. My intention was to have this video up much sooner than it is going out. I'm filming it February 2nd on a Sunday, and my weekend was just wild. Devin and I competed in our first ever CrossFit competition. We picked up CrossFit a couple months ago and we did a competition this weekend. So fun, so tiring and grueling, and probably one of the hardest athletic things I've ever done in my life. But I'm really excited that I did it, and I'm really excited that it's over because I feel like I dedicated so much of my free time towards preparing for this competition in January. And now in February, I'm excited to just take some time to focus my attention and my free time on other things that I enjoy. I have some personal finance books that I really want to get through in February. And I just want to do a little bit more of exploring Arizona. I only have I think it is a month and a half here left, which is a great segue into introducing myself. If you're new to my channel, if you're new to these monthly money reset videos, hello, welcome. I'm Kayla. I'm 26 and I'm so happy that you are here today. I love posting about all things personal finance. I also just love posting about my life, and I feel like the overall message of my channel is the importance of taking control of your life and your own happiness, and I do my best to show how I do my best to do that in my own life, all the ups and downs that come with that. And I also think that having a good handle on your personal finances is really important for having control over your life and your happiness and things like that. So that is where these monthly money reset videos come in, monthly money reset videos. I am all about pay transparency and improving in our financial wellness journeys, and I just love talking candidly about money. So if any of that interests you, then you are in the right place, and I would really appreciate if you would like this video and subscribe. It helps my channel, so I appreciate you. Introductions out of the way. Today's video is going to be structured like all my other monthly money resets go. I'm going to walk you through my January budget, show you how much money I saved, how much money I spent, what I spent it on, and how much money I made. And then I will take some time to reflect on the month, set some intentions moving into February, and check in on my financial goals before I set up my February budget with you. So I think we should go ahead and dig into this January budget. Welcome to my January budget. This is a quick overview of what the month looked like for me. I always give the same shameless plug. My budget template is listed on Etsy if you're interested. It's a pretty simple budget template. It's got everything for the month on one sheet. And I also always say that if you are looking for something not quite as simple as mine, something more in depth, or just looking for a budget and a place to start, Etsy is a great place. Whether it's my budget or a different budget template, there's so many templates on there, and you should check it out if you don't have a budget template of your own. All right, back to my template. I always start by looking at my overview tab, and it just gives me a great snapshot of the month and shows me what I expected for income, savings, expenses, and then what actually happened. This month is looking pretty good. I have a lot of green bars. I also love the overview tab because I can see how much money I brought into the month, which is right here, my start balance. Lost my voice there. So yeah, I can see how much money I brought into the month, and then it also shows me how much money I am leaving the month with, it left to spend, how much I'm taking into the next month. And this month was quite unique. I am exiting January with over $3,000 in my checking account, which is far beyond my normal. What happened was January 31st was a Friday. It was a payday, so I got my paycheck and I really didn't have any time to move money into savings or anything like that. So scrolling down to my income, all green bars, which means that I did not underestimate my income for any of my paychecks, which is amazing. Or not overestimating. Did I say underestimate? Yes, not overestimating my income at all, because that's the worst. Thinking that you're gonna get money that you don't get is no good. So my first 2 weeks of pay were a little bit light. The first week of pay was from the week of Christmas, so I had a couple days off that week, and then the next week was New Year's. So I had a day off that week, so that also decreased my pay. And then the last 2 paychecks were more like my normal. I sit right around the 2,000 mark. It fluctuates a little bit here and there based on my mileage. I've said this before, but I work in home health and I get paid for the mileage from patient to patient, and so that differs week to week. Paycheck number 5, that hit on January 31st, so I really didn't have any time to do anything with that money. I took money from my travel PT sinking fund. We moved in January and I had to pay rent on the 7th, and so I knew that I would need that, so I pulled from a sinking fund that I had been saving into. Then for my miscellaneous income, that is mostly getting money back from the security deposit for the first place, which just got poured into the security deposit for this place. So that passed straight through my bank account, like didn't even take a day to rest. Okay, that is my income. Scrolling over to expenses. I'm actually very interested to go over my expenses this month because I feel like I did a good amount of overspending. Like I've got a couple of red bars here, but when I go up to my overview tab, overall I underspent. Like everything is green except for the subs and bills category. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there, and I think it's time to do a little bit of investigation. Groceries, I almost hit exactly $600 for my grocery spend, and usually anytime I spend anywhere from $500 to $600, I'm happy with my grocery spend, so that's pretty normal for the month. Eating out, I was over budget again. It wasn't as bad as December. In December, I spent like $100. January, we made it down to $70, but that is fully from buying food out. Like I said, I'm working in home health, and it is just so easy to be heading from patient to patient and like grabbing some food from McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or something like that, and it is so hard to make sure I pack my lunch in the morning. So I'm really trying to be better about that. Gas, I was right around 140. Health and beauty, I was under, got to 45. I usually budget like 80 to 100, and my health and beauty spend is things like getting wipes, vitamins and probiotics, and anything for my hair. And I didn't have to buy any hair products in January, so I think that's why it was lower. That will not be true in February. I am running out of stuff for my hair, so I should be back closer to that 80 number, I think. I clearly was not a social butterfly this month. I spent no money on social endeavors, which I don't love. Most of my time was really put into this CrossFit competition, so goal for myself for February is to hang out with more people outside of this little unit of my home. I spent $35 on gifts. I didn't think that there were any birthdays this month, but I was mistaken. It was Devin's mom and stepfather's birthday, so we got a gift for them. Doodads is where things really just went all the way to the left. $582 for the month is out of control. It's simply out of control. And it started at the beginning of the month in January. I was still just very much on my happy-go-lucky Christmas spend, and I had underspent on Christmas gifts, and I think I was just like swipe or no swipe in my card. I did a Going Gone haul. Once I did that haul, I was like, Kayla, you're done. I don't know if you've been to Going Gone, but it is Dick's Sporting Goods outlet, I guess. You can get athleisure there for super cheap. But anyways, I ended up getting like 4 sets, I think, 4 workout sets for only $60. It was so worth it. The issue is that it was $60 that I did not have to spend because I had already overspent. So that is what happened in my doodads category. For miscellaneous, oh, that's pretty much just the fee for the CrossFit competition. And there it is, vacation. I originally had planned to do a lot of just exploring around Arizona this month, and I didn't do any of that exploring. That is a huge goal for February, to get around Arizona and spend some money in my vacation category. Usually I say that there is like nothing exciting about subs and bills. Everything is staying the same, and that's not exactly true this month. So subs and bills are a little bit spicier. My rent was over what I expected. So my rent for this place is actually $1,200, but I forgot about the cleaning fee and the security deposit. And so that is how I ended up at $1,456. Okay, the difference right here for CrossFit and iPhone, the way that Devin and I usually do it is I will send him my half for the phone bill, which is like $115, and then he will send me his half for having a membership at our CrossFit gym, which is like $130. And there's literally a $15 difference. And so this month we just didn't do any of that swapping. So he just paid my half for the phone bill. I paid his half for CrossFit, and I'm not tripping over the $15. Okay, and then other changes are YouTube TV and Canva. I'll start with Canva. So that comes out on the 29th. Like it says right here. And I usually do this mad rush to try to pay it by the 29th. It hits my credit card. I'm like waiting for that payment to hit, and it is so much to try to get that payment in by the end of the month. So this month I was like, no, I'm simply not doing that. I will just pay it next month and like allow it to roll over, pay it in February, stop stressing about it, which is what I do with my iCloud payment. So even though that comes out the 30th, The 30th is sometimes literally the last day of the month. And so I'll pay it on like the 1st or 2nd of the next month. And so that is what I'm going to start doing with Canva. And then YouTube TV, Devin and I made some changes to who paid that. I went ahead and just passed that bill off to him this month. We went over our finances together this month and kind of reset our own finances and realized that he's now bringing in a little bit more money than he was when we first split up subs and bills. So it was only right to give him a little bit more financial responsibility. And that is just kind of how we do finances. We don't have like a 50-50, 60-40 split. We just do whoever's making more and has less, I don't know, personal expenses will also take on a little bit more of our unit's expenses. So yeah, that is subs and bills. In savings, I'm so excited to talk about my savings for the month because I did a good job. I love when I'm able to save what I wanted to and more. I just feel like it is helping set me up for the future. So I'm excited to run through those. For our joint account, usually the goal is to save, Devin and I try to save $1,000 each into our joint account each month. And I recognized that I would have a little bit more money to save this month. So I was able to hit my goal of 1.2K. Doesn't that sound like a lot of money? I plan to say 1.2K. I just feel like when you add a K to something, it sounds like so much more. 1.2K sounds like so much more than 1,200 to me. Anyway, I saved 1,000. Oh no, I saved 1,300 into my long-term account. For my car, I saved another $250. I know that she's got some work that is going to be done soon. Also, my brake light turned on the other day, which is terrible, but it hasn't turned on again. I don't know what's happening there. I should probably call my mechanic, and I will. I have $1,000 in my car sinking fund right now, so that's very exciting. Whatever is wrong with it, hopefully I don't have to pay something out of like my checking account because I've saved so much for it. My time off sinking fund, I saved $700. I'm just prepping for being not working anymore in March. I'm not going to work from the end of March to I think like the beginning of June. So I'm just saving money to have to spend for that time period. I saved $200 in my Roth IRA. For our Panama sinking fund, I saved $400. Devin and I are going to take a like 3 to 4 week trip to Panama. The $30 I put into my emergency fund is just what I made from my Etsy budget sales this month. I haven't figured out what to do with that money yet. I know that it's not money that I want to be taking for myself. I'm just not making nearly enough monthly to like add it in as a source of income. And then even though I'm not making that much off of it, I'm not sure if I should be accounting for it with taxes. I am paying for an accountant this year. I just have lived in too many states and travel PT, the way income works with tax-free stipends and having a tax home and some of the money being taxed, it's just way too complicated for me to do it on my own. So I'm planning to take that up with them. I'm going to tell them like, hey, here's the money I've made from my budget sales. I've saved all of it. I haven't spent any of it. How do I account for this? So for now, the money I make off these budgets are going into my savings and I will figure out what to do with it when the tax person helps me. Yeah, that's the month of January. So now I'm going to take some time to reflect on the month and look at my goals as I move into February. As far as reflections for January go, things that I would like to do better moving into February is mindless spending. I want to cut that. My doodad spend was out of control. Almost $600 on fun stuff. It's just more than I want to be spending. And I did do a no spend week for the last week of January to try to curve that mindless spending mindset and recenter myself and remind myself just like a pull it together, you know? Stop it. So hopefully I can carry that mindset into February and not overspend on random things. And I also still want to be better about my eating out spend. I'm going to budget $50 again. That gives me like $12. 12 times 4 is 48. Yes, that gives me $12 a week to spend on eating out. I don't need more than that. Otherwise, I should be packing my lunch. I'm a packer. In elementary school, did they line you up as packers and buyers? And then the packers were the ones that brought their own lunch and the buyers were getting in line and getting the school lunch. I am a packer. To my core, in my bones, I've always been a packer. It was much easier to be a packer when my mom was making my PB&Js. Now it's on me, but we can do it. I can get back into being a packer. And my final reflection for January is that I didn't spend enough time having experiences, and I want to make sure I do more of that in February. I know that I've said over and over again that most of my free time was put on this CrossFit competition. I don't know that there was really a way around that. I decided with like 3.5 weeks to the comp that I was going to do it. So I kind of had to go hard, but I still like to check in with myself and make sure that all of my time is not going towards one thing for too long. I remember I had this conversation with my dad probably a couple months ago when I was spending a ton of time on YouTube. And I probably have this conversation with him every couple of months, but I was spending so much time on social media and trying to get content out consistently, staying up till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning consistently and still feeling like I just wasn't posting enough. This was around the time I went skydiving and my dad said to me, he was like, yes, it's important to be consistent and to grow on socials if that's important to you, but don't you have other things that are important to you in life? And he posed the question to me. He was saying, would you be happier right now if you had posted twice a week this month, but you didn't go skydiving, or you didn't make a plan to spend 3 months in Hawaii? Like, would you be happier? And that was really powerful to me because I was putting so much focus on the fact that I wasn't posting consistently enough, but the alternative was doing less of other things that I enjoy, and that alternative wouldn't make me happy either. So I kind of try to go back to that as regularly as I can. And when I don't, my dad reminds me of it, and just try to make sure that I don't spend all of my time on one thing for too long of a time. So with that mindset in mind, I'm gonna make sure that I have more experiences in February because I didn't have nearly enough in January. Okay, and then reflections out of the way, I'm gonna look at my goals, trying to refresh myself on my 2025 financial goals. These are my 2025 financial goals as they relate to budgeting. I'm just gonna put them up on the screen. I'm not gonna be changing too much about how I pay my loan. That was a big goal of mine, to become educated on my loan and to create a new payoff schedule. I still have my big goal of making sure that Devin and I buy a home this year, and we want to put as much money down as a down payment as possible. And I think that I'm going to try to be laser focused on that for right now. And once I make that down payment, then I can start to switch my focus to paying off more on the loan. So yeah, as much as it pains me that I'm not giving more towards my loan right now, I know that it is for a good cause. And I am happy that I at least have a time when I know I'm going to start paying more towards my loan. Oh, my Roth IRA. My goal was to invest at least $100 in my Roth and into my personal investment account each month. Not an issue for my personal investment account. I did $1,000 in January. I'm pretty good about doing around that number. And the Roth, I put 100 there just so that I wouldn't forget about it and neglect it this year, because literally last year I was not putting anything into it from month to month, and I just don't want to fall into that. Briefly, I thought about a sneaky goal of trying to max out my Roth IRA, which would be $7,000 a year. And I think that comes out to, I think it's like $600 a month. I'm going to do the math so I know if it's right. What is 7,123 divided by 12? Yeah, 583. So it's about $600 a month if I wanted to max it out. That is way too much. For the same reason that I'm not paying more on my loan right now, I'm not going to do $600 a month to my Roth IRA. I'm going to focus on this down payment for the house. But if I wanted to do like halfway towards a max out, that would be $300 a month, which I think is kind of more feasible. So I'm now trying to be somewhere in between the $100 and $300 a month range for my Roth IRA. I did $200 last month, so smack dab in the middle. And then I said I wanted to be saving into my sinking funds more consistently this month and not doing things last minute. Last month, I saved into my car sinking fund, I saved into Panama and my time off, and none of those things are imminent this month. So I think I am on track with that. So as far as hitting my financial goals, I feel like I did do a pretty good job this month, but I should definitely cut down on the mindless spending heading into February. And on that note, I'm going to open up this February budget. Okay, fresh month means a fresh budget template. I've got that $3,000 that I have as my start balance. I'm bringing over from last month. I am definitely eager to get that out of my account and into somewhere else. As far as income goes, I should have very normal paychecks this month. I'm not taking any time off, and we have 4 paychecks. It is not a 5 paycheck month. So I'm just going to enter all of that in, and I don't have like a security deposit or anything coming in for miscellaneous income this month. As far as expenses go, like I said, I like to be in between 500 and 600, but when I do get closer to 600, that's the higher range. So I'm just going to budget $550 for groceries. Eating out, $50. We can do it. I have self-discipline. I can pay only $50 for eating out this month. Gas is $200. I fill up about every week, and it's like a $40 to $50 fill up. I'm gonna do $100 for health and beauty because I know that I need to buy some new products for my hair this month. I am running low on my probiotics. So yeah, that could be a little bit pricier this month. Social, I'm gonna budget the normal $50, see if I can get out there and hang out with some friends. For gift spend, I'm gonna budget $50. It is my mom and my brother's birthday this month. Doodad spend, I'm giving myself $250. Miscellaneous is gonna be much higher than normal this month. I'm paying a tax expert, a CPA, to do my taxes, and it is quite pricey. It's gonna be $650. Around that number is what I was quoted. And then I have my normal miscellaneous allowance for myself, which is about $150. So that is $800. And then I'm just gonna roll over the planned money I was gonna spend on vacation. And then subs and bills, I'll copy over what I have from last month, but I know that I have some changes to make. So rent's gonna be $1,200. That now comes out on the 7th in this new place. Storage is another bill that Devin is gonna take over, so I'm just gonna get rid of that entire line. CrossFit's $130, and Devin and I just split the $260 that it is. Okay, and then YouTube is the other one that is heading out. So I'm gonna rearrange these so that it looks prettier than this, and then we can talk about savings. Okay, done. Voila magic. I got a little carried away and added some emojis, but it's cute now. So what I do next is go ahead and budget for my savings and see how much money I have left to spend. So in my left to spend category, it says 6,800, but it's a little closer to 6,000 because I try to keep 500 or 600 in my checkings account as a buffer. So I'm gonna try to account all of that money now into savings. So I think I'm gonna play with $1,350 for my joint account, $1,000 for my long-term, and for my car sinking fund. I already have $1,000 in that car sinking fund, but the goal is to keep it around 2K. So I'd love to just finish that out and get it to where it needs to be. And I bet by March, it'll be drained a little bit. I'll save another 100 into my time off sinking fund and then plan for 200 in the Roth IRA, right in between the 100 and 300 mark. Last month, I saved about 400 into the Panama sinking fund, and I did the math. I think the trip is gonna run me around 2,400, maybe a little bit more, but I'd love to just be done saving for that too. So I'm just gonna put 2,000 into that. And then I'm not really aggressively saving into my emergency fund anymore because it is sitting around 8,000 right now. I feel like that's a good number. And then that leaves me with 765 to spend. I'll keep it there. That's what I'll budget for. And then if at the end of the month, I don't do any overspending and I really do have 765 left, I'll put $100 somewhere else into some other savings account. So yes, that is it. I've completed my February budget setup. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and setting up my budget for the month. I so appreciate your support and just watching these. I just started my channel last April, and I think that my first monthly money reset was maybe in May or June. So I've only been doing these for like 6 months, and I always appreciate all of the support and kind words I get on them. So thank you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you very, very soon in another video. Bye.